Welcome to another video from Global Academy Hub. Academic excellence, global impact. So, what are surds? Surds are roots of numbers that are not perfect square. The square root of 4 is a perfect square. That's going to be plus or minus 2. For our purposes, we will use just the positive part of it. But the square root of 5 will give you 2 point something, something, something. It's not a perfect square. So we say this is a surd. The square root of 7, that's a surd. The square root of 9, this is not a surd. Because it gives you 3. It gives you an exact number. The square root of 8 is a surd. Now, at first glance, you might have said, well, what if I took just the prime numbers? The square root of 3, square root of 5. And while these are in fact surds, so is the square root of 8, which is not a prime number because it does not have a perfect answer. 8 is not a perfect square, so this is also a surd. Another example would be the square root of 15. Not a prime number, but is a surd. Now let's go to the square root of 15. Under the square root sign, what we really have is a square root 5 times 3. And because of our rules for root, this is the same thing as the square root of 5 multiplied by the square root of 3, which then means the square root of 15 divided by the square root of 5 is equal to the square root of 3. Now, these only work when multiplying and dividing. So here's another example. If I have the square root of 21, that is the same thing as the square root of 7 multiplied by the square root of 3. One more example. The square root 30 is the same as the square root of 10 multiplied by the square root of 3. And this is going to play a very important role when we come to simplifying surds. So here we are. We want to simplify the square root of 18. So what we're going to do first is we're going to break this thing into two parts or multiple, more than two. We could go. Okay. And I'm going to see that this could be the square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 2. Now, here's my goal. My goal is to find two factors. So square root of 9 and square root of 2 are called factors of square root of 18. I want to find two factors such that at least one of them is a perfect square. So in this case, 9 is a perfect square. So the square root of 9 is actually 3. So I've simplified this to this 3 square root of 2. Now, 18 could have also been broken down into the square root of 6, square root of 3. None of these is a perfect square. So I didn't really simplify it. Let's look at the square root of 63. This is the square root of 9 and the square root of 7. So again, square root of 9 is 3. 3 square root of 7. Now, the square root of 63 could also be the square root of 21 times the square root of 3. And the square root of 21 is the square root of 7 multiplied by the square root of 3. This is just 21. Then you still have your square root of 3 up here. So now you have square root of 3 times square root of 3, which is 3. So now I have square root of 7 multiplied by 3, which gives me 3 square root of 7. Now that is my answer, 3 square root of 7. But notice I got there a whole lot quicker when I did the square root of 9. So what we want to do is we want to realize that in simplifying this, when we look for our factors, we want to find the largest factor that is a perfect square. So we want to start there. Let's come back here to this bit right here. Square root of 3 times square root of 3. So our rule says the square root of x times the square root of x is just x. Okay? We want to refer to our laws of indices to make sure that we make perfect understanding of this. I do have a video on this that can help you. All right, let's simplify a couple more. At this point, feel free to pause the video and give it a try. The square root of 40 is the square root of 10 multiplied by the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is a perfect. That's going to give me 2. So that's going to be square root of 10 multiplied by 2. And so my answer is 2 multiplied by the square root of 10. There we go. Again, you could have done 20 and 2, 8 and 5. You will not get this answer as quickly. And in the case of 8 and 5, you would not get this answer at all. You want to get perfect square as one of your factors. The square root of 300. Let's do this as a square root of 100 and the square root of 3. Now 100 is a perfect square, so that is chosen with that in mind. The square root of 100 is 10, and so this is 10 square root of 3. So simplifying this is really not that difficult if you understand what we're trying to accomplish here.